nothing show up yet.
Guy just texted me and said that he's waiting on them to let me in.
I'm here.
I don't. Oh, okay. Never mind.
You
I
let
what?
him in?
It takes a few seconds for between somebody asking to be let in and when it shows up on my control screen.
See Rick Jones. Patrick Terry.
Well, Michael, I have top of the hour, so we can go
Okay.
ahead with and begin the meeting if you want to do what you
Okay.
need to do. Take
Who
it
is
from there.
Jonathan? I don't see your last name.
Sorry, that'd be Roman.
Okay. We need first and last names when we're doing these calls, because when we're taking minutes, just a first name just not enough. Okay. So I don't see Michael Lentz. Kenneth Hall, I did not see. David Hartwell, we do have. Tim Smith, we have. Wes, we have. David Hallwood. We have Pork Chop now. Okay, we have everybody. I've got roll call done, Brian.
Okay, very good. Well, listen, thank you all for joining. This, I hope to keep this meeting to less than an hour. Primarily, this is just a kind of a preliminary sort of president's report that I'd like the board and committee chairs to have an opportunity to look at. I've sent it out. I think Michael sent it out also. But this is sort of to help begin discussions and preparation for the February board meeting. What I've tried to do here is put in writing some of the challenges that I have thought about that the organization needs to deal with, and put some names to those things, and try to organize ourselves around some of these issues. Now, not all the issues are here. I'm sure there are more. So if you see issues, you can email me and we'll add them to the list. Some of these may be duplicated. I don't know. We'll see. We'll go for them. Then I also want to present to you the slate of chairs for 2023. I'd like you to see these before they're posted on the website and have an opportunity to express any questions or concerns that aren't, personality based or interpersonal based, but otherwise based. And I'd like you as board to see prior to posting it on the website. Some of the chairs are present here today, and rightfully so. So what I'm going to do is, and you've seen this before, I'm going to start with the challenge list, and I'm just going to go down the list really briefly. I'd like to just articulate them and get them out. So let me share my screen here and just show you something. Let's see. Share screen. Share this screen.
Comment. These documents are available on the IGRA website
Right.
under the
So what we
webcast
have
events,
here is
and you'll see
the,
this meeting listed, and
what I
under
call
that
the
you'll see
challenge list. And this is
meeting documents.
basically a list of things that I think are challenging our organization that need our attention as board members. I'm going to scoot over here for just a moment. I'd like to highlight a couple of things. For all of these things, this row, basically this row here, we are all have oversight over all of these things. These are not my things. These are things I think that we as the board have oversight to. This column here, I would like to see a board member assigned to each item who will be the lead board member for that item. Even if we have a chair, for example, for one of these things, I'm looking for a board member to take on a leadership role with this group and report to the board or liaison with the board or whatever. And then this third column begins to sort of outline the critical people who are either chairs or leading the initiative or those kinds of things. If the names are in green, that means I've spoken to people. If they're not in green, that means that they're aspirational, and I'm hoping to speak to them and get them involved. So we'll come back to this in a little bit. As we go through this as a board member, if you think of anything that piques your interest, I'd like you to reach out to me and tell me where you would like to sit as a lead board member. And it could be one or more of these issues that we're going to go through. So I'm just going to go through these really quickly. I've tried to prioritize them, but starting at the top, one of the big challenges is our registration system. We currently have an online contestant-facing form that we're currently using, and we also have a proposal from Robin Walker to do that on our own. In fact, for about the cost of 1 year's use of a third party's system, we could create our own system and have a fixed cost for 1 year, plus some other minor costs. Then next we have the back end, and as you know, the back end is the back end of our registration system is pretty old, DOS based. Probably could use an overhaul. And we also have a proposal from Robin Walker that we'll be presenting at the board and talking a little bit about. I won't go into it now. If we were to be able to complete these two things, we may have a system where we could become the vendor to others and use this as a revenue source for other small rodeo associations that we could farm it out to. It could be built to those specifications, and it could happen. And then the other thing that has come up recently is that we have identified a problem that, our registration system is probably not the easiest, most intuitive place to find access to. So we'll need to address that. Then on the revenue diversity side, as a 501c3, there's a number of things that we really need to be looking at. Grant writing and sponsorships. Wayne Schultz of Canada is an expert at grant writing, and I've reached out to him and I've asked him to take on the lead role in the grant writing and sponsorships initiative. And I'm looking for someone, or actually, I'm going to work with Wayne on that. So we'll look for other members to join, primarily for education, so that they can learn how to search for grants and write grants as needed. The next item is internal board support. Some of you who may have served on nonprofit boards before, but most nonprofit boards have a give or get policy. Not a policy, it's more of a give or get, I'll call it policy for now. But primarily, this is nonprofit boards, board members either give money or work to get money from their corporation or whatever it is, or give it from their own personal pocket, for example. And this is important because as we go out and ask for money from other entities and other corporations, one of the big questions that's asked is, well, what is your board doing? What is your board giving? How are they participating? in the financial success of your organization. Then I had a contestant ask me about the employee match charity funds. As you know, many employers have matching fund programs in their organizations, and I'm looking for someone. It was actually Alexander Sates who brought this up, and I'm looking for a board member who will lead this employee match charity education. It's really about educating people about how to do it, how to ask their company if it's available, how to sign up for it, and so on. The next item is the Giving Tuesday Network for Good. The Gay and Lesbian Rodeo Heritage Foundation participates in this Giving Tuesday Network for Good. And it's basically I think a quarterly Giving Tuesday event where people give online and then to their favorite charity. And then those funds are directed to the organization. It doesn't take a lot of work, it just takes a little bit of work. And we need a leader here, someone to take on this Giving Tuesday Network for Good initiative. And I can help teach people because I did it for the foundation. Next item is the GoFundMe initiatives. As you know, GoFundMe is a place where people can raise money, and I think one of the opportunities for IGRA is to once per quarter perhaps launch a GoFundMe initiative on a particular item, and we need a leader here, so I'm looking for a board member to take on a leadership position here, and once a quarter launch a GoFundMe initiative on a specific need for the organization, and try to reach out beyond our own membership out into the public. Then corporate marketing dollar support. Remember, this is a little bit different from charitable dollars. Corporate marketing dollars are marketing dollars that corporations just give to market their product and so on. The marketing dollars are a little bit different than the charitable dollars. They come with less strings, they're less complicated, there's less reporting. Sometimes they're easier to get, and I'm looking for someone to help out with this initiative. And then of course we've got royalty fundraising, which falls under Michael Butts currently as the VP. And one of the things I want to stress here is just that, we can't have all of our fundraising on the backs of royalty. They're a piece of it, they're a big piece of it, they're a great piece of it, but we've got other diverse things that we need to be doing to raise funds for our organization, which is now a 501c3. Then there's non-rodeo fundraising. So things like, and again, I'm just thinking out loud here, perhaps we need to do an annual fundraising barrel race. Other charities do it. It may make some money, it may not, I don't know, but at least we should consider doing it. And I would need someone here to help out with that project. Then also estate giving and planning. There's as a 501c3, we can be named in the estate plans of individuals who might think of us to give money to. The foundation, the Gay and Lesbian Rodeo Heritage Foundation, has received several estate donations, and I think IGRA can do the same thing. And really the initiative here would be to provide education on how to do it, and provide people with our particular donor contact stuff to tell their employers or whomever who they'd like to give some of their money to when they pass on to the future world. And then we've established an IGRA alumni donor group, and the goal of this is to find 10 people to give $1,000 a year over the next 3 years. And Mark Arnold of CGRA has taken this on for me, and he has already achieved 10 people who have committed to providing $1,000 per year for over the next 3 years to go to support our big event, which is World Gay Rodeo Finals. So Mark will be, like I say, he's got the commitments from people who are no longer really actively involved in IGRA, but that are invested in our success. And then fundraising, event planning. There's lots of other kind of fundraising things that we can do, and we need to really think out of the box, as they say, to come up with fundraising events. So again, looking for somebody to take this on. These things are not things that I can do by myself, obviously, and it's going to take all of us to sort of get into action and take care of some of these things. The next thing is donor recognition. I think one of the areas we fall down is a little bit of donor recognition on the part of IGRA. So we're looking for somebody here who is good at being thoughtful and who can, reach out to donors, thank them, recognize them, find creative ways to recognize them on an ongoing basis. People in one thing I learned about my time in the 501c3 world, my development director told me, she said, Brian, we're not in the fundraising business. We're in the friend-raising business. And this is one way that we can keep in touch with friends of the organization who will continue to donate their financial resources, time and energy to the organization. Then moving on from the revenue diversity, just really quickly, as a 501c3, we will be posting publicly our annual report for 2022 and a summary of our 990 report. David just sent me the data for the end of 2022, and we'll be compiling that into an annual report that we will approve at the February board meeting and then post it publicly on our website so people can see where we're at. And there's a little method to this madness, by the way, so I'll come back to this in a moment.
Brian?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm getting a message that the meeting is locked by the host. The person can't get into the Zoom video call, and when they try to dial in, they get a message that the call is locked by the host.
Okay, Frank, if you can see.
I
if you
have
can hunt that down.
no idea what that means. I'm looking for it now.
See if we can let them in. Thank you for that message, Michael. We'll move on. We're going to, one of the things that we really need to do is that we really need to be sure that all of our meetings, including our e-meetings, special meetings, everything but closed meetings are posted for every meeting to the public, and make sure the public knows where, when, and how we're meeting so that they can join us if they so desire. That's a requirement as a 501c3. All right, so that's just some of the 501c3 things I've been thinking about. Here's a few more. So one of the things I'd like us to look at is brand deterioration. I think over the years, our brand as IGRA perhaps has deteriorated a little bit. We're not as cohesive. We're not as together as we probably should be. So branding our materials and so on, I think that's something that we need to take a look at. And again, looking for a board member to take on this brand deterioration, revigoration kind of project. Perhaps we have a little bit of a lack of mission clarity that has led to some differences of opinion over the time, last little period of time. I think we need to go back to really thinking about what our mission is and clarifying that, re-educating our members on what our mission is for IGRA and 501c3. The next item is the GuideStar Gold Initiative. I think I talked a little bit about this. I've asked Michael Lenz to take this on, and since he's a board member, he's would also be the lead board member for this particular initiative. The GuideStar organization is a national, if not international, group that basically is kind of like the Better Business Bureau of 501c3s, and there's different levels, silver, which everybody kind of is, then gold, and then platinum, or bronze, gold, and platinum, I guess. Well, you start at bronze, and then you go to silver, gold, and platinum. As you get more and more in compliance with their standards for what makes a good 501c3. And that's what I would like to see us go for, gold level, which is probably not too difficult to do. But it starts with things like, for example, it starts with things like posting our annual report, posting our minutes, or not our minutes, but hosting our meetings, having them available to the public, because we do answer to the public now. And so the GuideStar Gold initiative, again, I've asked Michael to take on, and he can bring in a group of folks to help us apply for that very mainstream level of credibility and recognition as a worthy organization. All right, almost done here, folks, but I want to get it out. I want to articulate it. So we have a website, IGRA.com, and I've had a very frank discussion with Frank. That's a little bit of a, I was trying to be funny there, but we have our website one, which is, our contestants, our maintenance, our forums, and all those kinds of things. There's a couple of issues here. One is content maintenance. Another is redundancy. What do we do if we are ever in need of replacing Frank, or Frank is not able to perform his duties? How do we, what is our plan? So we need to come up with that plan, and Frank has agreed to help us with that plan, creating a redundancy, and so on. Then we've also identified that we do need a second website. And the second website is not to replace the first website, but the second website is a website that would really have the target audience of, hey, I've never been to, I don't know anything about IGRA at all. There's a few things I need. I just need to know like who and how, and some very low level kinds of things that people can easily access the content on that. Our current website, IGRA.com, is a wealth of knowledge, as you all know. But for the general public looking to join a rodeo or whatever, it may not be the best place for them to go. There's lots of information there once they get to be a little more experienced. So Scott Korf has agreed to create a secondary website that would target those individuals who are looking for a place to join and participate in gay rodeo, that would link and share information with our first website. I've had a look at a mock-up that Scott has created. I'll correct that spelling later, Scott, I'm sorry. I think it's really will be helpful to us to in that effort. And Scott and Frank will be able to work together on that particular thing. All right, moving on. World Gay Rodeo Finals. We do need to get to some long-term planning for World Gay Rodeo Finals. I think it's time now for us to start looking 2 years out. As you know, we need to start booking arenas and looking for places and so on. So we'll be talking a little bit to the World Gay Rodeo Finals Committee, and you'll see that in a moment. Another issue that we have is World Gay Rodeo Finals, how officials are selected, and how we deal with the fair and equitable assignment of officials to work the World Gay Rodeo Finals as officials, and the real or perceived bias perceptions that, you know, some people are in and some people are out and so on. And I'd like to see the ROC committee develop an approach to this over the next couple of years. I'm going to come back to the Road to Finals initiative in a minute. But we have World Gay Rodeo Finals 23 operations. We are in that stage now. We're, what, 8 months out, 7 months out from that. There's a meeting planned in January. And one of the things that I think we learned from the last rodeo is maybe, you know, prevent some dollar surprises and those kinds of things, and just really have a lot of clarity on what we're spending, where, when, and why. Then we do need to get onto World Gay Rodeo Finals 2024, and we need to get on to World Gay Rodeo Finals 2025. We need to start to have a committee that's going to be looking at places and start making contacts and so on. I'm going to come back to the 50-year reunion in a moment. The IGRA 2.0 membership initiative. As you'll see here when I go to a different tab, I started a list of people who are a lot younger than most of us on this webinar right now. It's a list of people who have expressed an interest in taking on a leadership in IGRA, or that we've identified could be leaderships. You know, identifying those under 50 potential, or those under 50 years old potential leaders, and include them in opportunities, I think is really important for the organization to do that. I think there's an opportunity for us to look back and look at how some members may have been disengaged, how we might right wrongs, fix what needs to be fixed, and maybe rehabilitate the relationships with those contestants and bring them back into the organization. We do need to, you know, again, look at those, righting those wrongs, perhaps fixing what needs to be fixed, and maybe make our board meetings more pleasant to be in, and show our membership that we can have an orderly, a pleasant, productive board meeting. And this is part of that, to kind of give you an idea of, you know, what kind of things we should and will be talking about at the next board meeting. Convention 2023, you know, we picked Reno, Nevada, and I've tried reaching out to a couple of folks on Convention 2023, and I've had a little success. I'll show you when we get to the chairs page. We need to start planning Convention 2024 and Convention 2025. In 2024, IGRA has indicated that they would like to host Convention 2024. This is going to be their 2024 would be their 30th anniversary year. And we'll need to take care of this at the February meeting. In 2025 for convention, Denver has indicated that they would like to take this on. It will be their 40th anniversary, and they want to have convention in Denver in 2025 to help celebrate both their 40th anniversary and our convention. And then finally, there's a few more things. I'll be quick. Okay, member organization support, value recognition. I get a lot of questions about, what value does IGRA bring? We need to be able to tell our story better. We need to be able to articulate it to our member associations, and I'm looking for a board member to help bring that on. Lack of the education mission. As you know, as a 501c3, that's one thing that we said we were going to do in our 501c3 application. And currently we have a committee looking to do an IGRA University in March of 2023 in Salt Lake City, Utah, primarily for the Salt Lake City IGRA rodeo team that's putting on their rodeo. But then we need to start planning the 2024, 2025, and 2026. Our bylaws have some restrictions on this that I discovered when we started to plan this. So we need to work this out and have a good conversation about this and see where we can go. Value to member organizations, that's a repeat. Smithsonian History Project 2025. As you know, we have an opportunity to reinvigorate this project that kind of went down the tubes during the last administration. It was not an LGBT-friendly administration, and the idea of putting IGRA memorabilia and articles in the Smithsonian Institute fell away. There's increased interest in that. I think we can pull in some of our East Coast members, and we can invigorate this project, and we can get our space and presence at the Smithsonian. As the curator there said, we will take care of your stuff for eternity. I think it's a great project for us to all get around. Then moving on, we've got some very deteriorated or abandoned websites, association websites. So we really need somebody to look at this. It needs our attention. It's not good for us or our brand when people go to websites and see that they're, from 2018 or whatever. It just does not give a good feel. All right, almost done. Animal appropriateness and skill level. I think it's one thing that has kind of had an impact on our rodeos and our contestant loads, a lot of injuries and those kinds of things. And I'd really like to see us continue to working on this with our stock contractors. I know Candy Pratt did a lot of work in this area, and I'd love to see Candy continue to participate in this way and help us with those essential items with getting appropriate stock for our organization. All right, I think we made a big mistake when we did away with the standards for our rodeo numbers. Currently we have a potential for inappropriateness on the numbers. We need some standards, and we need a brand look to these. And I did talk, I think I talked to Benjamin or somebody about that, or maybe Gene Frakes. But anyway, right now we need to look at this, revisit this, and come up with a solution to it. Contestant official conflicts and resolutions. I think the ROC needs to take a look at this. I don't need to tell you all, I've been involved in this myself. We seem to have a increasing number of conflicts between contestants and rodeo officials, and we need a relief valve and a way to resolve things in a fair and equitable manner. Every other year rodeos, quantity versus quality. Some rodeos have already moved to this, but I think we need to educate and support some of our associations that are struggling, that maybe they don't need to do a rodeo every year. Maybe joining the every other year group of rodeo associations and making sure that they fit into a good every other year rotation would be really helpful to the organization to continue to have rodeos and enough rodeos per year to satisfy the needs of the contestants and at the same time maintain the quality. Maybe there's some associations that just can't and don't want to do it every year. Then almost finally, I think, yeah, almost finally, you guys, appreciate your time here. I really feel strongly that we need to refresh, update, and revitalize our grand entry. Currently, in my humble opinion, it's a little boring. It's somewhat self-indulgent. It's a little modeling. Nobody cares that I'm the president. I don't need to be in a truck riding around in the arena getting whatever. People in the stands don't know me, care about me, or any of the rest of us, frankly. And we really need to have a look at this and revitalize it. I've asked Gene Frakes to take this on and put together a group of rodeo directors, royalty, announcers, and other people who are interested, who would create guidelines for member associations to revitalize our grand entry. Currently, as you know, we can't force the member associations to do anything other than the 3 items that are in the bylaws, but I think we can provide education and guidance to them. And I think there's some misconceptions about grand entry, about what they're supposed to do. Like, for example, I think associations think that they need to, you know, put the president and the board in a truck and drive them around for, you know, whatever reason. To me, that's a little too self-indulgent. It's not something that I want to do this year, and I'd like to see us reconsider those things and educate our member associations that they don't have to do that. Just keep in mind that we are now an organization. We're no longer a corporation. We're a 501c3 organization. So in our bylaws, we have a lot of things that refer to our corporation, and those need to be changed to organization. An example is a corporate auditor. It's really, at this point, it's our organizational auditor. And really, as a 501c3, we probably need a group of board members to be on an audit committee with the auditor to report to the board. All right, finally, the Sports Diversity Leadership Council. Some of you may or may not know, we are we're not a founding member, but we're a lifetime member of this organization. This is an organization of LGBT sports groups across the country and Canada who have connections to corporate sponsors, I'll correct the spelling there, and who reach out and connect sports organizations with sponsors who meet their corporate goals. Tomorrow I'll be leaving and attending the Sports Diversity Council in Las Vegas. I've been asked to join the executive council there, which I'm going to do, and I'll be meeting starting tomorrow through Friday and having dinner with specific corporate supporters. Through this relationship with the Sports Diversity Council, we've already received about $5,000 in donations from 2 separate corporations this year. About $2,500 each, one from AARP and one from the CAN network. So this will be sort of my thing to do, along with Chuck Browning, who's going to be our new marketing chair. And I'll keep you posted on that. We do need to work with other LGBTQ groups, prides and sporting organizations. I think the time has come where we need to be part of the overall sports picture, not just the individual rodeo picture. You know, for a lot of times, people have not really considered being a contestant in rodeo being an athlete, and we need to change that opinion. Again, I've been asked to sit on the organization's executive committee, and I've accepted that request, and I'll be meeting with corporate sponsors this week and again in the springtime Florida. We've had a really difficult time with our marketing and promotion. We haven't had a marketing chair for quite some time. I've appointed a marketing chair and a vice chair. That is going to be Chuck Browning and Scott Korf. And because Chuck is a board member and a chair, he will be the lead board member on this initiative, and he'll work with Scott on marketing and promotion of our organization. Almost last thing, merchandise. We haven't done merchandise, but I think we have an opportunity to leverage in the merchandise area the road to 50 years, and I'll talk about that now. As you know, in 2025, we will be celebrating 50 years of gay rodeo. And so I think we have an opportunity to really take advantage of this with corporate sponsorships and get them started now, supporting us through the next 3 years. To that end, I've created with a graphic artist a medallion. I think you've probably seen it, and a description of that medallion that we can use on our promotional materials. We'll talk more about that at the February board meeting. And we may be able to put that on some merchandise and sell it in a couple of ways. All right, I know that you're listening and I'm talking, and I just want to get through this because I want everybody to be aware of what's going on. There's a lot of people resources here, people that I know. If you know of any that have approached you and said, hey, I want to help, I want to do something, please reach out to me and let me know. For example, I did not know that Wayne from CGRA was an expert in grant writing or grant finding, for example. But a lot of people have reached out. I did not know that Scott Korf was such a creative web designer. And Mark from IGRA, I did not know that he was such a great graphics designer. So if you've got more names to add to this list, I would like us to have a list of people who are people resources potentially that we can reach out to if needed. As I talked about a little bit at the convention, the idea of IGRA 2.0. This IGRA 2.0 is a group of people a lot younger than us, most of us on this call. And I'm looking for more names, more people that we can bring into leadership positions, whether they be starter positions or, low-level, not low-level chair positions, but easy to accomplish kind of chair positions, and include them so that we start to create the next generation of IGRA leadership. There's a lot of great young people out here. I think we undersell ourselves. We think we're all old, but as I look around, I see a lot of newcomers, and I see not a lot, but I see several younger people who can lead this organization in the future. And then I see a number of people who are maybe not quite as young, but have also expressed an interest in being in a leadership role. This is by no means a full list. It's just off the top of my head. If you've got names, please help me add to this list so that when we're wondering, like, who could really be on, for example, the Hall of Fame committee, who's going to take over when, that group, grows beyond their abilities too. We need to have a plan B, and that plan B is IGRA 2.0, and we need to know who they are. All right, I'm going to move on to the 2023 chairs, and then we can open it up for questions if you have any, or we can defer to the February board meeting. You should have this list sent to you by Michael so that you can digest it, look at it, ask me questions, etc. What I've tried to do here is create a column that is a rodeo membership affiliation. I wanted to make sure that there is a good cross-section of associations represented in all of our chair positions. In this column, I've tried to call out whether it's mandated in the bylaws or it's an ad hoc committee for 2023. This is the list of the committees that I think will serve the organization really, really well. If they're in bold, that means that they have either a name change or they have we haven't had them before. So, for example, the registration system update initiative, we really haven't had that before. The Gold Star initiative, Guide Star Gold initiative, we haven't really had that before. The health, safety, and life security has had a name change for 2023. I think in light of some of the things that the LGBT community has gone through, we need to start to look at not just our health and safety, but also our life security at our events. And I'm looking for a person who has expertise in that kind of planning for sort of a what-if moment. What's our plan? Does everybody know what they need to do if there's ever a problem at one of our rodeos? And if you have any suggestions for that, please help me find this person. Now, down this column here, these are all the chairs that I've selected for the committees this year. If they're in green, it means I've spoken to them and they've accepted. And I'm still looking for the committee chairs that are in yellow. If the name is in green, that means I've talked to one, but I'm still looking for perhaps a partner for that particular person or for that particular committee. Down at the bottom here, I'm a little unclear. Sammy, I believe you're the chairperson for the 2023 finals, correct? With Mark, with Boogie being the rodeo director. Are you able to come off mute and correct me on this if I'm wrong?
That's correct. You're correct.
Okay. We need to get started on 2024 and 2025. As I mentioned before, we need to start working with the communities, finding the victories, etc. Particularly our 2025, which is going to be the 50th anniversary of Gay Rodeo. So we need names here, and I'm open to suggestions, but I don't think we can leave this too long. One of the things I'd like to see for the 2025, we need a plan. It's a planning committee, so things can change, but we need somebody who's willing to get started on it, and maybe move to a different position if they kind of do some footwork and groundwork, and maybe they don't wind up being the chair of this committee as we get closer to the event, but they've got a lot of the groundwork done under the guidance of the board and so on. So if you've got anybody who, if we can fill in some names here, that would be really helpful. And let's see. I think that's it. Oh, one more thing. One of the things we'd like to do this year is, in addition to the names of the chairs, we're also going to post online the committee members, the actual committee members. Who's on the committee? A lot of people ask, well, who's on that committee? I don't know who's on that committee, blah, blah, blah. And frankly, a lot of times we haven't maybe had people on the committee. But to the best of our ability, I'd like us to see us post the members of the committees along with the committee chairs in some way, hidden behind or something to that effect. So there you go. I'll just say this, if you don't mind. When I was making this, uh, these committee chair selections, I tried to think about all the things that I mentioned, association, affiliation. I tried not to be a wrecking ball. I looked for new people. I looked to keep existing people in positions. I looked to change some of the people out. I looked to, kind of broadly for opportunities to include younger people. For example, Jorge Sanchez from North Star in the presence as the president association, president's chairperson, with Tim Smith sort of mentoring her. So I know that every one of you will look at this and say, what the heck is he thinking? Why did he pick that person? I tried to stay out of personalities. I tried to stay out of, all those kinds of things that I didn't feel were appropriate in choosing a chair. So not everybody, I'm sure, is happy about some of these chairs, but this is the way it's going to be. And these chairs can work them out of a position if, again, like I said, they all represent me personally as president, and they can work themselves out of a position from this point forward. I'm going to shut up now.
Brian,
Yes.
on the committee reports and the committee members and so forth, we have a number of committee chairs and members of some of those committees on the line with us tonight. Before this meeting, I sent a copy of our committee report that's used at the board meetings, each board meeting, regular board meeting, and that form we've had since 2005, and I will be sending that out to all of our committee chairs, and share it with them, and that will. In my email to the board, I talked about several board members over the past several years have talked about who's on that committee. What's the minutes? When did they last meet? What are they working on? What's their action items and so forth? So we don't have to recreate the wheel, but we can start out at least trying the reporting form that we've had around for over 15 years and see how that works for us. I just wanted to share that and let the committee chairs know that they'll be seeing that form. I send it out every year, but we have a lot of new people this year in the committee, so we just want to make sure that's still appropriate.
Thank you. I see Sammy raise his hand. One moment, Sammy. Just a comment from me, Michael, on that. Yes, that committee report is really important for the board. That's why I've tried to assign a board lead to each committee chair position, so that they can liaison with that board or that chair to make sure that those kinds of reports get to us. So having that board lead will help with that. And then keep in mind that this just tells us that what's going on, and if there's nothing going on, that's okay. Just check the box that says no report. The hardest thing, I think, for a board or any leadership team is not having any communication at all from a committee chair that represents the organization. Michael and I have talked about perhaps some easier ways to get that form completed online, or how to submit it without having to, it is a fillable PDF. You can fill it out and do it that way. But maybe look at some easier ways to get that information to the committee. So I would really ask the chairs and the board leads to really help get those reports to the committee, to the board meetings. It's really essential. All right, Sammy, go ahead and unmute and ask your question or comment.
Okay. Well, the first one's a comment, and it is, I really commend you for putting this together. It's a very ambitious challenge list and everything else like that. And everyone that is on this call, plus others, have to understand that what Brian is talking about here is a big team effort. And that's what we have to commit, that we need people that will commit and actually do things. It's one thing to have your name down. It's a whole other thing to actually be part of a worker bee, which I think most white collar people are part of worker bee also. So anyway, I just want to say I commend you on this. I think it's amazing. I think we can accomplish this. I'm glad you had that vision to do this. And so I wanted to go to the one part which has to do with WGRF. One of the things that we heard in WGRF for this past year was we were not inclusive. So at convention, we asked anyone that came to a WGRF meeting during convention, if you want to be part of the committee, then be part of the committee and write down your name, which a lot of people did. Now, we've had 2 meetings since then, and we've ended up with where we had about 20 or more new names. We probably had 4 people involved in those 2 meetings that we've had that are additional to the people that had been on the committee last year. And so what I'm saying is, it's kind of hard because we need that participation. And one of those meetings happened right there at convention, and it was announced on the main floor. Right after that session ended, we were going to meet over in the corner. And still those people that were on the list were not there. And then we had one conference call since then, just to kind of get us rolling and see who's on board and everything. And everyone that was on that list was contacted about that conference call. And again, we probably have 4 new additional people. So I just want you to understand the problem that we have if we're being told we're not being inclusive, but then the people don't want to participate.
Thank you for that, Sammy. I think that's something we can rectify by having the names here. I'd like to know who, not to be punitive, but just to keep a beat on it. I think the board needs to know who's on the committee and who's participating and who's not, because that's the way that you get to be, on the future committees for the gateway funds. So noted. It's a problem I think we can fix. I think, Benjamin, you were next.
Sure. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, good information, and I appreciate that. In terms of committees, obviously you mentioned that there's a lot of new committee chair people here, maybe people who have not been who've not chaired committees before in our organization or ever in past years, in conjunction with the university, and on, I believe, the Thursday evening prior to our Friday committee meetings, I was able to present helpful information for chairpersons, whether returning or new. That's kind of dwindled like some of the other things that you have on your list here. And I think that would be valuable, probably for everyone, but certainly for the new committee chair people. So 2 things I think to leave you all with. First, anybody who's on this list who is a new chairperson or returning, who has any questions or would like any support on how you run committees, there's an entire section of Robert's Rules on what you do in committees, not the work itself, but the mechanics of running the committees. So I'm happy to support, coach, lend any experience or knowledge that I have gained over the years to their actions throughout the year, and more importantly, I think for convention, the better prepared the chair people are, the smoother their committees run and the floor runs. So again, informally, in my professional life, training is what I do, and I'm always sad whenever employees, in my case, but people are asked to do something and they've not been sufficiently trained or prepared to do that. They're floundering sometimes, they're uncomfortable sometimes, and the results are maybe not the best. So whatever way we'd like to increase that level of training or support for the chair people, I'd be happy to participate in that or work to make that happen for them. Again, informally, or maybe set up some Zooms throughout the year. Hey, here's some things you do throughout the year. And maybe a week or a month before convention, we do something formal for, over Zoom or something for the chairs. So just throwing that out there, whatever you all feel that would be helpful, I'm happy to support.
Great, thank you. It is very helpful. Mark, you had something to say? Mark Christensen, can you unmute and make your comment?
If you do need a chair for the health and safety, I would throw my hat in that. That is one of the things I don't know a lot of people know that I do. I am the health and safety director for companies here in Arizona. And if you need help, I will do that, sir.
Mark, I'm accepting your oh, you know what? Zoom stops me from typing as soon as somebody has to be admitted or whatever. So, Mark, I'll get you in here, and I appreciate that. We want to focus on safety in the broader sense here. I think you know what I'm speaking about without me. I don't really want to say it, but help IGRA or LGBT
safety of health and safety of participants and everything.
Yeah, in a very broad sense from the current sort of situation. All right, let's see who else wanted to speak.
I did.
Go ahead, Michael.
Just I sent out an email. Probably I think last month. Asked for the associations to send in their president's name, phone number, and email address. I haven't had a big response to that, so I just kind of thought I'd throw that out there, and I'll follow that up with an email. And I've also sent out an email, and we'll have some folks following up with the associations. The membership list for the new rodeo year, which were due after December 15th. The rodeo year technically started January 1st, so we do need the current membership lists from our associations, and you will have someone reaching out to you besides me asking for the membership list. That's used for many purposes. I would like to say thank you to Colorado, Arizona, Diamond State, and New Mexico. They provided their membership list, which was a great help. So, but we do need the rest of them as well. And we would appreciate those two pieces of information: your membership list and your association president contact information.
Thank you for that reminder. It's going to be really important. Michael and I also talked about some ways to help with that. Ron Trusley's going to help get that message out, and maybe some other ways that technology might be able to help us. Let's see who else. Jonathan, your name was butchered because that's not how you spell Jonathan. It's spelled John. There's an H in there, and it ends in ON, but I corrected it to suit your request. So there you go. It's fixed. That was a joke, by the way. Anyway, let's see. Wayne is from Canada, CIGRA. I hope I don't know what I said. I'm sorry about that. Let's see. Jonathan, we're aware about the 2025 World Gay Pride. Chuck is already on that. Let's see. Frank, did you have something to say at this point? Your hand was up.
No, that was from earlier, and I was trying to get the system to work.
Okay. All right, thank you. Frank, again, thank you for all your technical help here tonight. Okay, well, listen, so what I need you to do as board members is this. I need you to look at this challenge list. And I need you to look at these things that are challenging us. And I need you to put your name or send me an email and become the lead board member on one or two of these initiatives or committees. I think the days of us being a board that sort of just sit and listen and this is not a criticism, but just sit and sort of listen and we have to be, I think as Sammy said, we have to get into action. We have to take action. We have to do some stuff here. It's going to take a lot of work, as I think you can see, a lot of work. Some of this stuff may not come to fruition. But let's, I say let's try. These are the things I think are holding us back. If we solve some of these things, I think we'll have much more success. Again, these are not all the things. If you think of things, please send me an email and let me know. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? We'll discuss this further at the February board meeting. So if there's no other questions or comments, I'm going to just show one other thing really quickly, if you don't mind. I'm going to show you the visual representation of our Road to 2025 initiative. And Roger, if you're on, so this this medallion is a medallion that contestants can use, royalty can use on their shirt or on a cap or on our materials when we ask for sponsorships, and just kind of indicate to people that we are on a quick slope into celebrating probably one of a great LGBT accomplishment, which is 50 years of doing something. So if you want to read the description, I think I sent it out to you all. There's a written description of what the medallion represents. And I think it's something that we can use to our advantage on all of our materials to let sponsors and others know that we are a going concern. We've been around a long time. And you know what? We're deserving of support from corporations and people and whoever else. So there you go. That's all I have for you tonight. If you want to reach out to me individually, let me know. Please consider your position here as a board member. And I will have more discussions on this at the board meeting in February.
You do have another hand up.
I do. Who might that be?
Mark Arnold.
Mark
It
who?
says iPad.
Oh, or Mark. I see Tim. Go ahead, Tim, and then we'll go to Mark. Tim, go ahead.
Okay, well, I had two things. Ironically, that you just said Mark Arnold. So as a board member, if you'll put me on that committee with him, on that one, I'll do that, Brian, because
Okay.
Mark had that discussion with me about that whole program before he talked to you about it. So I'll be glad to work with Mark on that.
Thank you.
And the other question I have, I don't know if this is the right place, but do we know anything on rule books about when we're going to have those? Or we'll have them by Phoenix, right?
Yes. So it's not really the right place at this time, Tim, but Michael is working on it. The rules are being reviewed right now by the chairs and confirm that it's correct, and then the plan is to have them out shortly, but before Phoenix.
I have members asking is the only reason I asked.
Yeah, it's normally we get them about just prior to the Phoenix rodeo. That's what happened in 2020, and I've been in contact with the printers as well. And there is something new this year that we're adding to the pocket rule book, just so everyone knows. In 2020, we highlighted the things that were added to the rule book, but when things were removed, they just disappeared, and you didn't really have a record in the pocket rule book of, oh, we deleted that requirement or what have you. So there is a summary at the end of the pocket rule book that lists all of the proposals, what was added, what was deleted, and what was modified. So hopefully that'll be of some help for us as we move forward.
Very good.
I may
Alrighty.
go ahead and send that summary out to the rodeo officials committee for them to look at the thing they will want to incorporate into their meetings with their committees, with their officials in their groups. I know Rick is working on that for the judges.
Okay, very good. Yeah, listen, thank you all for your time and attention. I really do appreciate it. And I've really been giving a lot of thought to this and trying to put it in writing so we can all be on the same page. And hopefully we'll all be on the same page as we work through this next 2 years.
Don't forget Mark Arnold.
Say again?
Don't forget Mark.
Still have
Campbell.
Mark.
Brian, can you hear me?
Oh, is that Mark Arnold? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Brian, I just would like to, it's a request really. I'd like to be added, if I could, to the 2025 reunion committee there, and also the 23, 24, and 25 IGRA finals committees.
Absolutely, that's very appropriate, Mark. If you're going to raise $10,000 towards it, you can be on the committee there.
Well, and actually, we're currently at $14,000 pledges over a period of 3 years, which, of course, as you know, that adds up to a lot of money. And we're not stopping there. And everybody that's even on this call will get a call from me. I just really want to let those people know. There is nobody that is going to be immune from a phone call being a part of an alumni and bringing our organization to just a wonderful space.
Well, great. That's great, Mark. I tell you what, it's really hard for me to zoom and correct and add.
Sure,
So
sure.
if you wouldn't mind, anybody who has wants to be added to something, just send me an email and I'll get it done and I'll have it all nice and prepared for the February board meeting. There you go. All right, listen, thank you. You spent a lot of time with me. It's 8:12. Anything else?
Thank you to all those that have already pledged their money. Several people are on this phone call.
Thank
Chuck's
you.
hand is up.
Oh, Chuck's hand is up. I'm gonna ignore Chuck. Go ahead, Chuck.
Brian, I think one of the things that I'd like you to consider adding onto there is the IGRA secure site. We need to do something because as board members, we rely on that site for access to financials, to meeting minutes, to everything else. And I don't know what's in the plan for that or if that's on there or if that's something we're working on the side, but I just wanted to call attention to that.
Yep, I'll go ahead and add that, Chuck. And actually, Frank has repaired that site, and I've been able to sign in, and he's fixing to get new sign-ons and passwords for all the board. And so there'll be some more information before the February board meeting. But I will add it to the list so that we can keep a tab on it, okay?
Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Feel free to call me, email me, whatever you need. Good night, and thanks again for your attention. Bye-bye.